Welcome to the Pocatello Business Podcast, the only Pocatello podcast focused on providing profits for Pocatello people. If you love our town and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Pocatello Business Podcast with your friend, host, all-around great guy, and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone. We are here with Cody Clinger in the house. Pocatello guy. He is owner and operator of ccxteriors LLC, one of the great roofing companies in this area. Everything east of Twin Falls, they're taken care of, right? Everything.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Make sure my directions are right because I'm not that smart. So
that's okay. Everything southeast Idaho, east of Twin Falls. That's right.
I like it. So Cody is a Pocatello guy. He went to graduated from Century High School.
That's right.
Went on to do some studying at Idaho State University.
Very briefly.
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
All experience counts. You've had some experience with you've had a lot of sales experience. The summer sales you've done, and then you worked for Idaho Flood and Fire, doing a lot of remediation there, and then now you're owner of ccxteriors, correct?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Perfect. So, Cody, before we get into the nitty gritty of it all, let's and the fun part of it all, and this is still fun, but tell us about you, your hobbies, and your family. Kind of tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah. I like the outdoors. Summertime is my favorite season. I love boating a lot. There you go. That's my favorite thing to do. When we finish up a hard work, day at work and it's hot outside, I get in the boat, we go to the lake, and that's what we do. That's our fun. I am married to Rachel Clinger. We have two beautiful kids, one boy, one girl. They are the other part of my fun. So when we're not boating, we're hanging out as a family, just probably binging on some Netflix or drawing or coloring with kids. They're 3 and 2, so it's a lot of fun. Lots of busy fun.
I like it. I'm as proud as I am with any kind of accomplishment with business as raising my children and doing activities with them, because
that's what it's about.
That's right.
We work to give them a good opportunity later,
That's right. But I'm also, I don't subscribe to the thing of, hey, I want to work hard so my kids don't have to work and grow up kind of like I had to, and they had to work. And so I had to work throughout, growing up, and no matter what position I'm ever in life, they're going to work their butts off so they don't turn into crap human beings. So. Yeah,
I would agree with you there. I think that there's a lot to be learned in the trials of life, and I want my kids to grow that same grit and work ethic as well.
That's right. And you don't get that without like you said, just a little bit of opposition in your life.
Yeah, that's right.
Some hard bosses, some hard-nosed bosses, Yeah. I like it. Well, cool.
Some sports out there. Yeah, it's good.
I love it. And I also love the boating aspect of it. We love the boating on our side too, so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, Cody, ccxteriors, tell me how you got it started. Walk me through it. Why did you go ahead and start your own business?
So funny thing, you mentioned college a bit ago. I was in an economics class, and my professor was an economist. He's from China, and he came to America and loves the fact that we have a free system. We can start a company like that. You can start a company tomorrow or today, right now. We could figure out a widget to sell or a service to offer or something to do. And I love the freedom of being able to do that. That's why I started a company. So really, to me, I will own many more companies than ccxteriors. ccxteriors has been incredibly successful, and we've been very excited about that. So when I was in that economics class, my professor was King Yik, and he was talking about GDP and all these other things about. It was a very basic economics class, and I just could not focus. My brain is one that I think of an idea and I chase it, and then I think of another idea and chase it, and And a lot of times that can kind of unground me, I guess, and I might chase a bunch of rabbit holes, but I find that business for me helps to really come to a conclusion on some of those rabbit holes, I guess.
There you go.
And to also satisfy the desire to stretch and push and drive. I got a lot of energy, so I love business. That's what I love about it. You have to wake up yourself, you get off your butt and go to work. No one else is going to start it for you. You know, so ccxteriors started with, we did start with a hailstorm in Idaho Falls. When I worked for Idaho Fire and Flood, they are a primarily insurance-based company.
Sure.
And so I had a lot of training with insurance already before I moved into CCX, before I started this company. And that training really did help quite a bit to kind of kickstart and to boost my knowledge in insurance. Have a lot of good friends in insurance, and then a couple good mentors in building. Brett Jensen with my brother's company, Idaho Fire and Flood, is a phenomenal builder and a phenomenal project manager as well. And I took a lot of pages out of his book to learn how to project manage, to make sure things run smooth. And so when the hailstorm hit in 2018 in Idaho Falls, I just saw the opportunity and jumped after it. I don't tell many people this, but at the end of the day, we didn't start very much, like very big. I didn't start on like a big bank loan or anything. I mean, got a small loan from my dad to get a truck and a dump truck and a couple tools. And then we just knocked doors and talked to people. I think a lot of marketing is just talking. You got to talk and, get to make friends. That's what it is. So.
Make friends, show them some value so that see they can trust you.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And then follow through, right?
You what?
Then you gotta do what you're gonna say you're gonna do, right?
Right, follow through.
That's follow through, yeah.
I agree. I was literally just talking with our operations manager the other day, and I said, I need your middle name to turn into follow up and follow through. Yeah. She's great. She's better at following through. But I just talked to her, especially when she doesn't do much sales. But I said, if we're looking at the sales thing, sales side of things, if you're not following up at least, around 7 or 8 times,
people are going to forget about you.
You're not going to get the sale. Most people don't get that sale. So you don't want to be annoying in the follow-up, but you always want to find ways to provide more value in those follow-ups and to make that happen. So
one of my good friends, Brandon Desfossis, is a realtor in town, and he is a follow-up master. I love that man for that reason. He will nag me to death. The good thing I think about follow-up is it doesn't show that you're nagging. I think it shows that you care. You got to get out there and tell them, look, we're here to serve you. We want to make sure we're taking care of you. And the only way we're going to do that is if we communicate. So yeah.
That's right. I like it. Well, what's something you wish you had known starting out in this company that you know now?
Man. Starting out, I wish I knew, I was a project manager for Idaho Fire and Flood. I was a general manager for the Boise branch that they currently run. And starting that branch, I learned a lot of things. QuickBooks was the thing that I kind of had to learn by trial. I really didn't know and still know very little about QuickBooks. My wife helps me a lot about that. And then Nancy, my office administrator, does QuickBooks for us. And so I think a lot of the safeguarding to make sure the financials are safe, that's an important step of small business. There's a lot of exposure there that could be potentially dangerous to your company. That's not terribly hard to figure out. It only takes about a week to come up with the systems to really make sure that no one's stealing from you and things like that.
Yep.
Things that I wish I knew a little bit more about. I mean, in my particular field, we do a lot of insurance work, so you can never know enough about your trade. You always have to be studious to your trade. Like, you should be learning about it all the time. You should geek out about it. So I needed to know, of course, more about roofing, more about building, more about the building code, more about the process of city and how it involves in the building process and things like that, which will come over time, I'm sure, but need to read up more about it. Running men and having men run other men or women. And that art is an interesting art. Also not being taken advantage of with guys like taking too much time off. You know, you get a valuable guy, but he kind of pushes that limit of your patience where he's like, oh, I got to take a sick day. And you're like, dude, you're not fetching sick, you know, and that, so managing that, kind of coming up with systems to allot that. Those are some things that I've learned over the course of business that I didn't like know on the onset of starting my business.
Yep.
And I think there's more to come. You know, we have about 14 people on payroll. And so when you grow, you know, when we were at 1 to 3 people on payroll, that was one kind of facet of systems that you run. You get to 3 to 5, and that's another facet of systems. And then you get this kind of hump where you get 2 teams running, and you got to figure out how to run them, also keeping equipment involved and making sure it's maintained. And anyway, lots of moving parts. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're right, man. And I want to circle back on what you just said, because I ran into the same thing with when you're first starting out, or even when you're just normally in business. You've got people that are doing work for you, and you feel like, hey, you know, you got those people that feel like they're taking advantage of you, and they're always looking for something to get a day off. And I remember talking to my operations manager and even my consultant, and he said, you know what, it's not a systems process right for you. It's not a systems problem for you. It's a core values problem.
Right.
And that's one thing that we've kind of really focused on lately, is we set up core values about 2 years ago, and it's be honest, have fun, make money, and work together. And we specifically write hiring ads to those core values. And so once we found out that we start hiring people that share those core values, a lot of those other problems go away. And that's what I've seen in our process.
That's brilliant.
You're finding people like you that aren't going to do that kind of stuff. They're not, well, because you're not about taking advantage. You're not about, you know, being dishonest, you know, and you find people that like to have fun while they work, and they enjoy being around you, you know, and that kind of stuff. So that's been a big one for us. And I'm glad that you talked about processes and systems, because that's important. I like it. So good work there.
Well, that I took from that quite a bit. I mean, I have an operations manual that I took a long time to write out and things, but core values is something I need to do, and I just haven't, you know, in the normal humdrum of business. So, and
the funny thing is too, is that this brilliant man that he helps me and coaches me, and his name Mike Campion, and he helped me understand that, you know, you can have all these systems and manuals in place, but if you don't have the right people, they're not going to read those kind of things. They're not going to pay attention. They're just going to put their John Hancock or their John Henry,
right,
whatever movie you're watching, and they're just going to slap it on there and say, all right, well, give me a paycheck now, you know, and not really care about the company. So that's
you lose out on a lot of details with that. Yeah. And it's dangerous. Got it. That's awesome.
I like it, man. Well, that's good. And I know I've said this before, but he gave this example, and I've said this on the podcast, but when a pilot's engine catches on fire, he doesn't just run out and get a parachute and just
no.
He's got a checklist. Okay, well, number 1, shut the fuel off to that engine. Number 2, extinguish the flame, and then walk it down until he can land it safely. You know, and that's exactly what we have to know as business owners to continue to fly our plane of a business. So,
because it can't crash, you got 14 other people relying on this thing flying. Yep, exactly.
That's right, man. Yeah, you got a family, they've got families, everyone's depending on it. So and your customers are depending on you.
And you got pride as well. I mean, there's a lot in that, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're not just going to throw your hands up and get a parachute and jump out the plane.
Yep, exactly.
You're going to get some grit and work through those issues. Yeah.
And you talked a little bit about the financial side of things. I think that's everyone really struggles with that at the beginning of learning a P&L and balance sheet. That's tough. That's tough stuff at the beginning. And that's something that we're actually going to go over in a later episode, is reading a sample P&L and balance sheet for people, because I think it'll be really beneficial. So
heck yeah. No, I think so too. That's great.
Well, cool. So what's something you're curious about right now?
I have my budgets, that I run, you know, my banks, and how I run my financials, and we do fine with that. But I just talked to a friend of mine who does a different budget, and he didn't tell me any specifics, and I don't think anyone needs to share specific digits or numbers or anything.
Oh yeah.
But I think percentages and stuff is nice to know.
Percentages are great.
He has a painting company, and he talked about a few things, and I need to call him back because I found that it really piqued my interest, because I was like, well, shoot, that might, you know, manage some of the stressors in my business, and it's every business has that. I found that to be interesting. That was kind of a recent discovery, not a super urgent one. We'll probably handle that later in the fall when roofing kind of calms down a little bit, so that we can really give it attention to maybe operate systems around it. That's one. I think what do some small businesses do notes on? Like, do they do loans on equipment, or do they do it out of pocket? You know, what are some people's ideas and experiences with that?
Sure.
I've done both ways, and I'm not sure how I feel about either way.
You bring up some good points, man. It's good.
Yeah, those ones recently have been a you know, a question in my mind. Just as you growing pains, you need more equipment, you need more, but at the same time, you want to make sure cash flow remains intact. You want to make sure that you know, forecast the growth correctly. You know, you don't want to buy a truck and then in the off season you don't need a truck and it just sits there and parks. You know,
it's an asset that's just sitting there and your money's tied up in it.
Yeah, it drives you nuts. So, I mean, there's that aspect. I'd like to hear some stuff about maybe how other companies manage dumb things like maintenance on your trucks. Like, there's those other companies that'll come and like AMSOIL will come and do a maintenance check on your truck and change your oil, but they charge a premium because they come to you. But I wonder if that actually is a trade-off in time. You know, it's all about time. You know, anyone that owns a business knows that they're going to put in way more than any of their techs. They're going to put in way more than any of their workers. You know, that's the hand you dealt yourself when you started it.
That's right.
And so kind of managing that time is really important, because that's the time that takes away from your family. You know, we come and work hard every day to start this business so that we can have freedom ourselves as well. There's that trade-off. You know, we want to make sure we have time for ourselves. And I wonder some of those menial tasks, how do they, you know, new clean is probably cleaning the warehouse, keeping it organized, making sure the guys keep it organized, maintaining trucks. Those are some other things too. I mean, I think I killed a dead horse by talking about that long enough.
That's good. I like everyone's curious about something else. And you know, I like, you brought some really good ideas for different episodes for us to have in the future with
finding cheaper supplies that don't justify quality, but also, you know, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure you can find cheaper shingles, but they'll probably be done in one rainstorm. So
yeah, you can. Yeah, you can go buy some Atlases if you want. You can throw some Owens Corning on your house. That's okay.
Well, perfect. I like it. I like what you said so far. You know, it looks like you're starting things right, and you're providing value. I always like to say that, provide value, and just be a producer in this community. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, it's fun. We got to work.
Yeah. So I got one more question, and then we'll take a sponsorship timeout, and then I'm going to finish my last two lightning round questions that we always do at the end.
Cool.
What's something that you're not very good at?
I love that question. I think my wife would probably answer that question better.
Mine would have a huge list of things.
You know, I find that interesting. I mean, that even goes back to I would call that a cranial issue. You yourself, you have to look third party at yourself to say, is this something I do wrong? And I don't know if anyone really reflects on that enough. What am I, something I'm not good at? I sometimes prioritize things that I think are more interesting over things that are more important. And I think that has a lot to do with just simply, you're really busy. like so busy that you haven't even seen your family busy, you know, and you've gone for months that way. You've hit the ground running for months. You know, it's been, for me, like right now, I mean, we're in the middle of a busy season. For me right now, we're 3 months into a busy season or 4. And I just caught myself, and I think it's because it's a leisurely activity that I know I do still need to do. It's like kind of catching yourself doing something that's not as disciplined as diving into that 30-page long email that you have to read.
Yep.
To get to that next step that needs to happen, but you just don't want to read a 30-page email because you feel like it's a total waste of your time.
But you know what, though? You brought up a good point, because and it's not wrong to look at leisure stuff or look at pictures of cool boats or anything like that. But
right.
Because
I'm talking about, dude, I'm not even talking that. I'm talking like, frick, updating my Facebook profile might be a good example of of an activity I need to do.
Sure.
Might take precedence over that 30-page email. You know what I mean?
Sure. I'm just saying that whatever it needs to be, I'm huge at getting your mind right to be able to enter into those other things. Because if your mind's not right going into something tough, I put that off until the next morning, because I know, okay, I'm going to be more rejuvenated at that point. I'm going to be ready to conquer something big, you know? So
that's a good gold nugget right there. Making sure you know yourself to understand when you're the most productive. Like in my mornings, I have to do all my trip work in the mornings, like dropping off supplies, things that don't take deep intellectual thought. You know, the stuff that's easy, you can do it with your eyes closed. The stuff that is hard for me to do in the morning, but I can do really easily in the evening, is think very critically about, you know, creating estimates and things like that. And so, yeah, I think that's really important, finding the right times for the right activities, for sure.
I like it. Well, cool. Let me take a quick sponsorship break, and then we'll get right back to our last 2 questions. So Dell's Outdoor Advertising, they sponsor the Pocatello Business Podcast. Been around for 60 years. The Kirkhams are a great group of guys, group of gals, huge family here in Pocatello. They treat people right. But I'm telling you guys, billboards are the best for top of mind awareness. You know, even though people aren't, every person that's driving by that billboard's not taking pictures or calling that number or looking at that website. Their logo's there, that caption of 6 to 8 words is there, maybe a captivating image is there. They keep them thinking of you and your company. And I'm telling you guys, this is something that you're going to want to try out. Give Rob a call at 208-232-6886. Again, that's 208-232-6886. And if you tell them you heard it on the Pocatello Business Podcast, they're either offering you a free installation or your first month for free. So that's a pretty good deal, guys. Call Rob, make that happen. And that's a good little deal to get you broken into advertising on billboards, or even if you've had billboards in the past, it's a good deal. So back to you, Cody. There's 2 little lightning round questions we like to ask at the end. They're kind of fun questions. Number 1, what's your favorite local restaurant to eat at within Pocatello, Charlotte?
Oh, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, man. We got some pretty good ones.
You can. I allow up to 3.
Okay. Well, so breakfast is a pretty obvious one. I love Jumbo's. That place is popping.
That's man. Pocatello.
Love that place. And then the Yellowstone is pretty good. I like the Hawaiian restaurant that's in the back of Station Square. That's pretty good. I think they only do lunches. And then the third, not a huge fan of massive chains, to be honest. I love local greasy spoons. So when my wife and I pick a place to eat, you know, the best gyro in town's Tom's Gyros. Like,
yeah,
we got some really great places to eat.
I like it.
Find a local Pocatello greasy spoon. You'll get some pretty dang good food. Chuck's recent addition to our greasy spoons here. They make the best Philly cheesesteak. I served my mission in Philadelphia, and it is accurate. Like, that's hard to do because there's only like 4 ingredients to a cheesesteak. That it's accurate. It's on.
Which restaurant is this for the Philly cheese?
So where E-Fresh used to be.
Okay, Chubby's.
It's a Chubby's. Yep.
Okay.
They make an accurate cheesesteak. They got some good sandwiches there, man.
I like it. I still miss the fries at Eat Fresh though. Eat Fresh had one of the best fries.
Oh man.
So
dude, we nominated them. I'm not kidding. Those fries we nominated for drivers
drive-ins and
dives or whatever it's called. We actually put in a little web request for that because they're so good.
Yeah, Emily, she knows her stuff. She's great.
Dude, she's a talented chef. So's Dan.
There you go. Okay, last question. What is your favorite local business, just general local business to spend your money at? Fun.
Spend my money at. Oh, man. I don't spend very much money outside of my business, to be frank.
You got to have some hobbies. You mentioned some stuff that you've done on your off time.
I mean, Barry's is by far the only place I honestly spend money that is a spend, not an investment in my company. I like saving up for a trip to Hawaii more than I like spending my money, brother.
Hey, that's good stuff, man. And Barry's is a good shop that we're trying to get on our show right now. So
we love Barry's. If you live in Pocatello, you love Barry's.
That's right. Jonathan and Barry take care of the people over there. So
yeah,
I like it. Well, cool, man. I appreciate you being on the show with us today. Hope to have you on the show in maybe the next 6 months or so. Have you?
Yeah, man, it'd be good. I'd love to hear some of those answers to some of those questions that I just asked, and then also, we'll be listening for some other people to see if we can't answer some of those questions.
Yeah, I've got a commercial banker that I know would probably come on the show and be kind of a co-host or something with me too to help us answer some of these questions too, because they might.
That'd be sweet.
And some of these other veteran business owners, not me, because it's only 8 years for a new clean, but these people have been in business 20, 30 years, I guarantee they're going to have some good insights. So questions for them. I like it. We'll keep those questions for later, but thanks for being on the show again. And people, if you want to get a hold of CC Exteriors, how do they get a hold of you?
You can call us at our office number. That's 208-709-8496. We also have a website, which is ccxroofing.com. And you can get a hold of us on Instagram as well. That's linked to my website, and my office administrator handles the Instagram and Facebook page. Those are probably the best ways to get a hold of us.
Perfect. All right, guys, you heard it there. Give CC Exteriors a call. They'll take care of your roofing needs. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Hey, take care. Thanks, Spence.
Yep.
Congratulations on spending a couple minutes getting just a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Pocatello business community. If you are feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.